Salamanca, Salamanca, you captivate the desire of returning to you, to all those who have enjoyed your gentle life.
What time is it?
I don't know, my dear Queen Isabel. Maybe noon. The sun turns the stones of this millenary city into gold.
Noon already? Tempus fugit. Time flies.
Yes, my lady. We have been here for more than 5 centuries. From here, from this wall of the University of Salamanca, which is the oldest in our kingdoms, we can see the past, present, and future of this newborn city.
So long, my good king. Centuries have flown. Nowadays, the students are so happy and funny like the first scholars that filled the classroom in 1218, when Pope Luna approved the erection of this university. Then, Salamanca had won the privilege to have a university.
Oh, my queen, are you referring to the courage of men in these lands since the days before the Roman Empire?
The bravery of men and women. Do you know, Fernando, that the name of Salamanca was Salmantica, and this village was the scene of fights between the Carthaginians and Roman armies? Hannibal's army conquered this land and ejected all the men to the opposite side of the river Tormes. The women of Salamanca hid the swords under the clothes and gave the arms to their husbands and fathers. Finally, the Carthago's army was defeated.
Brave women, my lady, like Doña Urraca, the first queen of Spain in honor of her birth and title, with her husband, Alfonso, king of Aragon and Navarra, helped to build the old cathedral of Salamanca, the one that Bishop Hieronymus had begun 50 years ago. Even you, my Queen Isabel, decided to show that men and women have the same intellectual ability.
Oh, Salamanca, I liked it so much during our rain years. I used to stay in Casa de las Conchas. In the monastery of San Esteban, I met Cristóbal Colón and encouraged him to discover the far lands of Orient. Nobody could imagine that in this long journey he would arrive in America. With the help of the Dominican monk Francisco de Vitoria, we declared Derecho de Gentes, or as it is called nowadays, human rights. Francisco de Vitoria defended that the Indians had the same rights as the European people.
Here in Salamanca, Elio Antonio de Nebrija, Master of Masters, wrote the first grammar of our Spanish language.
He promised me that our language would make an empire, and this really happened.
Don't forget Fray Luis de León, our excellent poet and expert in biblical languages, who suffered unjustly the punishment of Inquisition. In these hectic days, I always remember the verses of his poem, Oda a la vida retirada.
Qué descansada vida la del que huye del mundanal ruido y sigue la escondida senda por donde han ido los pocos sabios que en el mundo han sido.
And as you are talking about literature, we cannot forget 2 important books about Salamanca. La tragicomedia de Calisto y Melibea, best known as La Celestina, and El Lazarillo de Tormes, origins of the modern novel.
Salamanca was also the birthplace of Beatriz Galindo, wise woman, teacher of our sons, and your advisor, my queen. She has been called La Latina because of her skill and knowledge of the Latin language.
It's true, because during our reign, the university welcomed the first 2 graduated women in the world, Beatriz Galindo and Lucía de Medrano. Even the famous lawyer Feliciana Enriquez de Guzmán had to dress as a man in order to study at the university. Difficult days for innovative women.
Blessed Salamanca, home of scholars, poets, and mystics. In this land, Santa Teresa, doctor of church, honoris causa at the University of Salamanca and patron of writers, founded some convents. Her writings on mystical theology and poetry are glorious. She rests near here, in the village of Alba de Tormes.
Yes, my good Fernando. Her words echo in my mind forever.
Read and you will guide. Don't read and you will be guided.
And another great man of peace, San Juan de Sahagún, was able to stop wars between factions of the nobility of Salamanca, so long divided. This was the cause of many deaths in 15th century.
And so it is forever remembered at the famous front door of the House of Concordia.
Ira odium generat, concordia nutrit amorem. Anger breeds hatred, love sustains harmony.
City of arts and artists, golden Salamanca, a stone of Villamayor. With this kind of golden stone, the main buildings of the city have been built. Remember, dear Isabel, that this year marks the 5th centennial of the construction of the new cathedral. What a great work!
And we are so proud of it. A wonderful building, a sacred fortress, a place of worship. I remember well the efforts you spent, my good husband, to convince Juan Gil de Ontañón and Juan de Álava, the first architects, to respect the building of the old cathedral. Thanks to them, and to you, of course, Salamanca has today 2 beautiful cathedrals.
And the square, La Plaza Mayor, meeting point, city symbol, a starting point for all paths. From here, from this wall of the university, we heard rumors about its construction in 1755. Alberto de Churriguera was the master of a large number of masons, carpenters, and blacksmiths. Salamanca would not be the same without its Plaza Mayor, without the arts that have seen the history of all people of this neighborhood land.
If you go out by the Arco del Corrillo, you can see the big towers of La Clerecía, what is today Pontifical University. Our successors, King Felipe III and Queen Margarita de Austria, favored its construction so much. Gómez de Mora was the architect who built the enormous church and the Jesuitical college.
Do you feel homesick, Isabel? Do you remember those nights we spent enjoying the music of our royal composer, Juan de Lencina, his villancicos, his dances, or his musical compilation known as El Cancionero de Palacio?
We were so young, Fernando. Many times I found you singing your favorite villancico.
Music inspires composers and listeners. The notes of the organist, Francisco Salinas, still come to my ears. He was blind, but his music was plenty of light, color, and life.
Maybe the most famous musician in Salamanca's history is Tomás Bretón, who lived in 19th century, well known in Spain and Europe as a composer of zarzuelas or symphonic pieces, as his symphonic poem Salamanca. Listen, listen.
These sounds bring to my mind Miguel de Unamuno, counselor at the university during dramatic days of Spanish history, literature, philosophy, poetry. He came from the Basque country, but he loved so much Salamanca, as you can read in this poem.
When I die, keep my memory in your heart, golden Salamanca. And when the last shine of the sun make your color like gold, say, as an eternal messenger, I have lived.
Salamanca has always been a literary city. In the 20th century, we heard about Gonzalo Torrente Ballester and Carmen Martín Gaite, two famous writers, and a century before, my good king, Mathilde Chernet, who was one of the first women writers in this city.
History, art, literature, music. Nowadays, Salamanca is a living city, with a living university and living people. So living, my queen, that the female basketball team, Perfumerías Avenida, won the EuroLeague Women Basketball.
As you know, Fernando, I have always preferred football. And let's remember that the coach of the Spanish football national team is from Salamanca, Vicente del Bosque. With his support, Spain is the current European Cup winner and World Cup winner in 2010, after defeating German and Italian national football teams.
My lady, I think that we must finish this story. We have been protecting this city during 5 centuries in this stone wall.
And we will still be here as a new testimony of the life of Salamanca, a city that connects past, present, and future.